Not even about sex. It's about the fact that I want to see how much I can get away with and not get caught, knowing that eventually I will get caught, but let's enjoy the roller coaster ride on our way there, and that is very dangerous.
Dedication, preservation, take a look inside your salvation. Do every good work, it takes patience, like a butterfly, transformation.
What's up, guys? Sophie here, and I am back with another video. If you are new, then don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can stay updated on all of my content. Don't forget to check the description box because I always put a lot of stuff in there, such as my book for single women and this book, Play to Be Played, which I have been doing a lot of videos on, and apparently y'all have been liking. So what we're gonna be talking about today is the different type of cheaters. So I'm going to link all the Play to Be Played videos down below. So all of it will be linked down below so you can watch all of the videos that I talked about in this book. Anyway, so we're going to go into types of cheaters. Number one, the rebellious child cheater. This cheater is a guy who is constantly getting into a mother-child relationship with his woman. This brother feels powerless because his woman is dominant in the relationship, and he has a lot of internal conflicts because he wants to be looked at as a man, but he's afraid to leave his comfort zone of a mother figure. Yo, I talked about this guy. I have classified him as the man child. This is another characteristic of the man child, which I will leave my video on the man child down below. This is another characteristic of a man child when all of a sudden you have become his mother and you are taking care of him and doing everything for him, but he probably don't even want to be with you, but he doesn't want to leave the fact that he can't go nowhere else and you were going to be his mama like some other chick is going to be his mama. And so therefore he wants to stay so that you can take care of him, but he also wants to be with other women. And in some weird way, for some men in this situation, because they have been emasculated in so many ways by their women becoming their mother and taking care of them and being the breadwinner and them having no direction in life, they now feel like, oh, to prove my manhood, I must now sleep with other women. And this is the way to make me feel like a man. And see, that's very misguided, because you putting your peen in a whole bunch of people is not the pathway to manhood. You being about your business, your ambition and your goals, and you have not having your woman take care of you, right, is you being about your business. But for whatever reason, when you have this misconstrued and you're not a mature and you're not a secure man, this is what you, and he talks about this in the book. That's why I'm gonna leave the book down in the description box. He calls them cavemen, because then your primitive nature is to just get as many women. He says a normal, secure, good man, they're the kings, right? They are ambitious. They're about their goals. Yes, they want a woman, but they also recognize a good woman and what all that entails. It's not just like something superficial, and they sure don't want their woman taking care of them. But cavemen are like them, where instead of chasing purpose, they chase tail, and they feel like that is a way to make them a man. And so since they're not a man in their everyday life, and their woman is the man and his mom, apparently, this is a way in which he has now found to prove his manhood, is to be with women. So let's get into the delayed player cheater. When you don't complete something, you will want to finish it at some point in your life. And most men in our society have to go through their player stage. Some men get in their player stage over early in life. Some go through it much later. The delayed player, like the married Mac described in chapter 3, which I have a video on and I will put it down in the description box, is the guy who didn't go through his player stage in his early teens and 20s because he got married at a younger age. So now he wants to go through the player stage. Basically, this is like the stereotypical midlife crisis where men will start cheating, and they've been married happily for all these years, is because they're trying to recoup something that they feel they did not get in childhood. And I also feel like these are for the nice guys, and I have the video, I don't know what it is title, but it'll all be in the description box, where basically it's like he might have been the nice guy growing up, or a nerd, or he didn't get a lot of play, and then he went to college and now he blossomed and now he's successful, and now all of a sudden he wants to be a cheater because early on he has some deep-rooted self-esteem issue when he wasn't viewed as the most attractive, and now he feels to prove his attractiveness is to be with a whole bunch of women. Now these type of men will either just sleep with a whole bunch of type of women and play all of them, or they can be with the high school sweetheart, be married, or be with one woman and then cheat on her as a way to prove his desirability. But really, you notice that it's all about him improving his desirability. It's not about the relationship, and really it's kind of a selfish thing to do because you have some deep-rooted issue about whatever you didn't do, and now you have blossomed. And some men can blossom in their 30s, whatever. Now you have blossomed, and now that you're attractive or you have the money to upgrade yourself, you want to cheat. So that's basically the gist of that. Let's get into the next one. The player with the fire cheater. This type of brother is motivated by the possibility of getting caught cheating. He is sexually turned on by the thrill and danger of his acts of indecency. This guy will cheat with his woman's sister or his wife's best friend. He will have sex with other females in the same bed he and his wife or girlfriend sleep in. He will have sex with women in his car. The playing with fire cheater is usually a laid-back type of guy who is extremely turned on by the fact he is doing something naughty or devious. That's kind of more of a narcissist. I know that word is overused. So either this is a narcissist or you have narcissistic tendencies. I don't know if these are the guys that you can spot. Like, I feel like with the other ones, you can kind of spot their cheating possibilities. Like, you know, you could spot the midlife crisis coming on, right? But for this guy, can you really spot somebody who is going to cheat with your sister? I think if somebody has narcissistic tendencies or traits, then they're probably prone to do this. And that's why we have to just be careful of those people, because all of it is rooted in selfishness and they don't care if they hurt you. And oftentimes it's not even about sex. It's about the fact that I want to see how much I can get away with and not get caught, knowing that eventually I will get caught, but let's enjoy the roller coaster ride on our way there. And that is very dangerous. So let's get to the next cheater. The free agent cheater. In sports, a free agent cheater is an athlete who isn't under a specific contract. He can go to any team that chooses him. He can also go from playing baseball to playing football or any other sport he chooses. The free agent cheater is a guy who is in a marriage or committed relationship, but in his mind, he is still a free agent. The marriage contract means absolutely nothing to him. It's just a piece of paper he signed to shut his main lady up. Free agent cheater parades his other relationships out in the open as if he was still single, and he has no remorse doing this. If that other video is not posted yet where I talk about women who stay with cheaters, and it was on this book, I feel like the specific type of woman that this is, and I talked about it in that video, is women who get caught up with a man who looks good on paper. And I also have a video on that, or that they get so caught up with the lifestyle that they want to stay with a man because he has a nice house, because I feel like he could do this for me, because this, because that, because of all these reasons. And they feel like, oh, I don't want to let him go because then I'll let go of all these privileges. And now you have a man that's just like, okay, you forced me to marry you and I wanted you to shut up, and now I married you, but I really don't care about your feelings or even cheating on you. So much so that I'm going to parade all these women around you and let everybody know that I'm cheating on you. And I know you're not going to go anywhere because I know that you like the perks of probably being with me, or I know you're going to stay. Because to me, a certain level of arrogance is required in order for a man to openly prance a woman in front of your face and feel like you're not going to do anything. And that doesn't mean fight. That means you're going to leave, to feel like you're going to stay regardless. So there must be something that he's dangling in front of your face that you need to hang on to, that you would actually tolerate open cheating like this. So let's get into the next one. The cheaper to keep her cheater. This type of guy is in a marriage or relationship that he knows has run out of gas. The relationship have lost sparks a long time ago, and generally wants to end the relationship so he and his significant other can go other ways. But he also knows that the one who breaks the relationship off, his woman and her lawyers, take him to the cleaners. Yeah, I don't know if there's too much explanation about that. Here's what I feel. If you are a married woman in this situation and you are okay with this, then it's on you. But as I always say, if you are a married woman in this situation, this is why you need to have an exit plan. I ain't trying to be funny, but if you know your man just cheating on you and he won't divorce you because you know that you can get alimony and all this stuff, and so therefore he's just staying and you're just staying, come up with an exit strategy so that when you leave, you can have your stuff on point. I don't care if it is, and I know y'all gonna say I'm sneaky, whatever, I don't care, because to me this is not being sneaky. This is pain and suffering. Like, it's pain and suffering, okay? I feel like if I know, I don't care if during the relationship, if I don't work, if I'm like, boo, I gotta get a little part-time job, if I gotta get a full-time job so I can sniff some money away, it is what it is. You could call that being sneaky. I call it being smart and coming up with the exit plan, okay? It can be, babe, can you pay for me to go back to school? So that, I knew somebody like this. I met her in my master's program, and her husband was very abusive and he was cheating on her, and she literally came up with an exit plan for him to pay for her master's degree and to open up her own practice. She saved her money during her master's degree, got a job, put away some money, opened up her own practice, and left him just like that. That is what you do, boo. That is what you don't sit around and be like, oh, I know he's not gonna leave because it's cheaper to keep me. Like, that's cute. Nah, you leave, you come up with a strategy while you're in the comfortability of your own space, and you bounce, because he not gonna leave. He just gonna do whatever it is that he wants to do, and you just go, and it's keeping you from moving on in case you do want to be with somebody else. So let's get into the next one, the coochie conquering cheater. The only reason why this type of guy gets into a committed relationship is because he thinks it's the only way he can get a woman to have sex with him. He's intrigued by the thrill of hunting process and getting a sexual commitment from a woman. Once a woman finally gives in, he's no longer interested. He conquered her coochie and he is ready to move on. But this guy has made so many commitments and has gone to such extravagant lengths in order to get the coochie. Now that he has finally gotten his payoff, he finds that he could just jet out so quickly. You know, I feel like this is probably the most common type of cheater, and I feel like this is also a mentality thing that men feel like the only, like some men feel like the only thing that a woman has to offer is her sex, and he doesn't see women beyond that. And so therefore, you know, women's vaginas are like collector's items that he's going to collect, but he just can't come out and be doggish with it. Instead, he has to wine and dine a woman to make himself feel like he's not a thief and he's just out for coochie. And so he just gives the boyfriend experience to probably more than one woman, and some women will not let go, even though they know, because just like the last scenario, oh, but he gives me so much, he shows me so much care, he puts on a different facade, but really underneath all of it, he's just a big fat cheater, and he just wants to play Prince Charming because of the fun or the chase or the courtship. But really, when he gets what he wants, he's just gonna, like, all the lust. That's just like, I have a video, I'm gonna put it in the description box. I know the description box can be so long, so many videos, but I talked about the difference between love and lust. And as you guys know, I'm also a faith-based channel, but the way that I can correlate this is in the Bible story of Tamar and Amnon, when her half-brother raped her. Before that, it says, oh, he loved her, he was so infatuated with her, but then he raped her, and all of his love turned into hate, and then he kicked her out. That's the same thing that this is. Oh, I'm extravagant, but because it's not rooted in I actually care about you, it's rooted in I want to get what's between your legs, and then that's it. And then the whole fairy tale of me being your Prince Charming before that, if that makes sense. So it's like a upscale of a narcissistic player, in the sense that they have actually tricked themselves into believing that they are Prince Charming, and they just so happen to lose interest in these women after getting their sex, when really they were only in it for the sex anyway, if that makes sense. Okay, so moving, the deflecting guilt cheater. This type of guy is in a relationship or marriage that he feels isn't bad enough to break off, but it isn't good enough to stay either. And if he were to break the relationship off, he would feel tremendous sense of guilt. So he becomes blatant with his cheating and hopes that his lady will find out and decide to break up with him. Yeah, I feel like this is just a wimp. Like, I have seen guys like this too, when they're just like openly, blatantly cheating on like my friend or whoever. And it's like, and then on top of it, it's not just the cheating, then he's just blatantly treating her like crap too. Like, at this point, you could tell when a guy wants you to break up with him, when he's treating you like crap and he's cheating on you and you don't care, and he doesn't care if you find out, because he wants you to break up with him. But see, the downside to that is why I feel like it's wimpy, is because I have been with guys after they have done this, and then it's always, they give you this conversation, oh, it's never me, you know, women are always breaking up with me, and I'm such a good man and I'll fight for the relationship and I wanted to stay in it. But it's like, once you start talking to them and you really like hear the reoccurring pattern, or even they start doing the pattern with you, then you start to realize, no, you were really just such a jerk because you were such a wimp that you didn't want to break up with her, so you just acted like a complete nut job and you just did everything wrong so that she would break up with you. But really, that's just rooted in a really punk mentality, in my opinion, because to me, just break up with the woman. Don't try to ruin her and break her heart and damage her because you're too afraid to accept responsibility that you don't want to be with her, right? To me, it's just break up, because now it's like you create all these internal issues with another person, because now they're probably going to go on and have trust issues because you were too afraid to be a man and just leave the woman alone, right? Okay, so the last one, the takeout order cheater. This guy is in a relationship where the woman uses sex as a bargaining chip. When the wife or girlfriend tries to deprive him of sex in order to manipulate him, he simply goes out and gets sex elsewhere. I don't even think that this is a situation of manipulation. Do some women hold sex hostage as a manipulation tool? Sure. I don't necessarily co-sign with that, but I also go with the mentality that I'm just celibate and waiting until marriage, and I don't believe that in a marriage you should be withholding your bodies from one another. I don't believe, because I do feel like it creates this sort of situation where it feels like, okay, well, you keeping your stuff away from me, I can just show you that I can get it from somewhere else. On the flip side of that, I think some men use that as an excuse. I think some men will be like, oh, we haven't had sex recently, and so I felt like I had to go and get it somewhere else. You haven't been giving me any, because at the end of the day, you're in a partnership with whoever you're in a partnership with. You should be able to talk those things out and move past them. The answer is not to go find some other woman to show you that I still have control in this situation because you're not giving me what I want, which is sex. So once again, I feel like that's a very wimp move. And in mature relationships, you talk about problems that you have. You don't get back at somebody and cheat on them because you're mad that you're not having sex as often, or they won't give you sex, or you feel like they're using sex as a weapon against you. You just go to that person and you address it directly. You don't you know what I'm saying? You don't just cheat on them. All right, guys, so that is about it. Once again, don't forget to check the description box, and I will talk to you guys another day, another time. Bye, y'all.
Not ready for the show to end? It doesn't have to. You can head over to my site where you can read hundreds of articles. And also, you can feel free to shop my store where I have all of my products for sale. And last but not least, for even more video content, feel free to visit my YouTube channel where I talk about a wide array of content. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, stay blessed.